YouTube, welcome to the top 8 grand finale and top deck list. We are starting off with a first turn kill deck, which according to the official in-game analytics from Konami, that Gimmick Puppet, according to them at the highest rank, it is the third best deck. It's got the third highest win rate right behind Ritual Beast and Blue Eyes, and now we have it in today's event against Branded. So consistently first turn killing left and right. So if you want to find out the best way to stop it, you will possibly be finding that out right now. By watching as long as you can, that greatly supports this video, even if we have us on in the background. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Let's start this off with I'm Seti, discard a card searching for the King Sark plus an additional draw. Condolence Puppet will send one card from the deck unless you're going second, and then sends multiple. Rogue Doll, add from engraved back to the hand. Rogue Doll, you do want to ash this effect definitely, even with the field spell on the field. Summoning the Little Soldiers. Little Soldiers send the Cattle Scream. We do have the Serenir banishing the Gimmick Puppet Machine X here. Why you want to do that is because it has the effect to reborn to then add back the rank up. It is a good use of your Bestial if they did not have the Impulse. And so did we make the correct play? We messed up. We done goofed. The Impulse was not activatable until the Cattle Scream was on our side of the field. So we had to, on the activation of summoning the Cattle Scream, then use the Serenir, but your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to you activating Gimmick Puppet monster effects. So even before, we had to preemptively see that they were planning on summoning a body on their field to turn on the Impulse to negate our Bestial, and we had to do so on the resolution of a card effect with their toggle on, otherwise we can't summon it. So it's like a few layers of an oopsie doopsie that probably everyone would have fell into. Let's add back. This is what we want to stop. This, the reborn, the add back of the rank up, that is what we did not want to happen. As we're going to field spell add, now the monsters on the field are unaffected. We're going to put a puppet counter onto the opposing Cattle Scream. We're going to be summoning onto the opposing side of the field the puppet strings. Let's rank this up into the dark strings, which is not a hard once per turn, and it's not on Xyz summon, it's on special summon, pop, draw, and burn. As we're going to detach, put another counter, reborn. Yeah, let's just get out of here. So we now know for game 2 and 3 that they're going to be tricky with that Terror Baby and the Cattle Scream and turning on the Impulse. This deck not only is allowed to turn on Impulse early to counter cards like Nibiru or Abystial, but also it turns on the Triple Tactics talent in a way if you are able to get a body on their field and then have it activate, or you could even use Triple Tactics Thrust. Allure of Darkness. In addition to Maxi, which is not a disruption, you have Magna Hut, which I would say is definitely a disruption against Gimmick Puppet. We got to use it correctly, though. We have Mercourier negate a monster after banishing a monster from the grave. We have the Rinbrum, which can negate and spin. It's kind of 2 disruption. We'll count it as 1. We have non-target monster banish with the Mirror Jade. We have Banishment, which could return the Mirror Jade back in the field. We could fuse with their opposing field. We could Albaz Engrave, summon, fuse with their field into a form of disruption. It's about 8 disruption. Let's see if it actually goes up to 8. It's very conditional. We have the Rogue Doll, which is a good use of Ash. We're going to use the Mercourier on that since we don't have Ash. Negate the effect of summoning itself from the hand and a monster from the deck. 2 bodies on the field with 1 negate. We have Triple Tactics Thrust, searching for the Condolence Puppet, which is an insane card. Holy moly. You have to understand what this is going to be doing. It's going to be not only fill up the grave for a ton of plays, but it's going to be, why don't you get Terror Baby? And oh, they're stuck in your hand. Shite. It could have been better. But we do have this at least. Your opponent cannot target Gimmick Puppets or card effects, and ideally this should have also been sent to the grave, but we had 2 in the hand where your opponent cannot chain to your Gimmick Puppet card effects. So we need to find a way to get that baby in the grave. Rogue Doll triggering, add back. Fiendish Knight triggering, being able to add back also. Let's see. So we said we had 8, right? So we're now down to 7 disruption, if I'm remembering correctly. Bistal, we're now untargetable. We are going to Magna Hut, target the monster in grave because it's only the gimmick puppets you control. So ruling situation here is, does whatever this is trying to do, does it do its thing? It states that you are going to target a gimmick puppet in the graveyard and then special summon it to the owner's field in defense, but its effects are negated, then special summon this card. Does it stop this special summon? It does, because anything before then, if that does not happen, after then will never happen on any card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Test it out however you want. It's not going to summon. All right, there you go. Didn't perform the before then, so after then, no good, and that was enough to scoop it up. I think we lost because we had 2 babies in our hand. All right. We're going to use the Rainbow Bridge plus the I'm Steady getting engraved. We're going to draw a card, draw an additional card, field spell plus a Crystal Beast. We're adding 4 cards to the hand right now. Okay. We're going to use the rank up magic. This is correct. This, if you're playing against it, this is when you would do it. If he summons something that activates on summon, which it does, the Machine X will trigger engrave. If you special summon a gimmick puppet, which is what we're doing right now, you activate this to special summon this, then add back the rank up, and you would not be able to chain your Bestial. You can't do it because of the Terror Baby. So we learned from game 1 that we now know better, and we did it. But is it enough to not get first turn killed? After the correct use of a Bestial, do we still lose? As we're going to be burning. Oh, shoot. It has another effect. Doesn't this deal half the damage of a Bestial? Inflict half of its original attack. 1250. Burn for 1250. Then burn for 31 after drawing a card here. King Sark, discard, send a horse in the deck to the grave. You have the field spell, detach material to then summon a body onto the field on the opponent's side. We're going to be using the Dark Strings, put a counter on both, but we're just going to burn for 3k, not 2k and 3k. As we now go into the Giant Grinder. Let's grind away the puppet strings, burn for 3k damage, 650 life left. I think we could do it again, right? The Giant Grinder can't grind your own cards. It's only going to be a monster the opponent controls. That was an Xyz monster. As we're going to now go into our Machine X, putting both in the grave for a Chimera Doll. So while you Bestial to stop us from reborning this, if we could summon another gimmick puppet, we're just going to trigger its effect, which you didn't chain it to the trigger because you couldn't. And now it's going to, oh boy. Yeah, yep. This is why we Bestialed you. Which completely played around our Bestial perfectly. Add back the rank up into the Dark Strings, activate to draw, pop, and burn. Lethal damage. Now, if he did not activate Terror Baby, that was a bad use of Bestial. But because he did activate Terror Baby, that was the correct use of the Bestial. There's just nothing we could do. From there, it was just, is he good enough with gimmick puppets? And he was. Begin. We have Memento Blade on summon is going to not activate to do anything, but in an open game state, it's going to pop itself, summon for the deck. We're to chain Max C to it popping itself. Get that free draw 1. Veiler negate the Anguish from searching for the Memento Horse, which, would we even want to summon it under the effect of Max C? We do have Triple Tactics Talent, though, to take a gander at that hand, and we see they have 2 active plays, the barrel and the load. Let's return the load, which the barrel will reset the load unless we use the Forbidden Droplet to negate. Let's see what we have, mate. We're going to summon the load and get ready with the Memento Fusion, then chain Droplet to send the Memento Fusion to negate. Now, we saw their hand, and we know they only have hand traps. What are the chances that they also drew another potential play through the Fiendsmith track? That would be absolutely nuts. Ain't no way. As we go into the Twin Dragon on summon, it's going to pop itself to then search for 2 cards, which will then activate Engrave to reborn or stop all that with Ash. Yeah, you're not searching 2, you're not reborning. Get that trash out of here. And unfortunately for Kaido, we have a Fiendsmith tracked adding Lurie. Lurie did, oh yeah, absolute dread. We have no other play. Bro, I saw your hand. You didn't have that. What the? Okay, Requiem into Tears. Tears send the Engraver here. Return back Lurie. Reborn. Engraver equipped with Requiem. Send the Twin Dragon. It wasn't destroyed, so it does not trigger to reborn a body. Let's go into the Fiendsmith sequence. Sequence Fuse to the Grave into Lacrima. Lacrima, grab back the Engraver onto the field. 6,200. Let's further go into the Ignumde. Burn for 1,200. Is this game? 18 and 24, 18 and 800 math. Who's got the math? Yup, that math's out. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I incorrectly didn't account for the boost of Ignumde on Lacrima when you reborn it. It's definitely more than enough for lethal. Yeah, I messed that up earlier in today's event. We have Fua lost in the standby phase. No way to stop it. And for real, really, well, we get to summon from the hand and not get affected by the Fua loss. Ooh, super Apollo USA. You draw one, and I have 4 monster negates. I think that's a good trade. Let's now reborn the combined creation, which will not give them another draw under Fua loss. I mean, we all agree, right? Fua loss is balanced. We did a lot of special summoning under Fua loss. They drew 2, but we did like 5 special summons, and we did some good trades under it. We have Mace, Take Control, Droplet, Negate. We have the Apollo USA with the Quadra Monster Negate, up to 6 forms of disruption. And then we have the Combined Creation, Reborn the Creation King to pop a card on the field, multiple cards in the field. That's 7 disruption through a Fua loss. And we have Max C, the unbalanced version of Fua loss. Dippity, we're gonna just take it. Yoink, Club of the Grave, Finger, the Mace. Ain't no way. Our Take Control just got negated. We're now down to 6 forms of disruption. A lot of it tied to the Apollo, so if we have a direct way to deal with Apollo, that would be great. Reborn the Creation King, as I was saying would happen. We're gonna max C, not even bother using the Ash Blossom here. The Typhon turns off Apollo. Apollo now cannot be used unless we use Droplet onto it. We're gonna Typhon, non-target, spin back. Droplet is going to negate. Now, you would think that if Typhon's negated, I could still special summon for the rest of the turn, right? No. Yeah, you summon it, you still can't summon, and now it's doing nothing. I'm gonna pop 2 cards in the field. You got baited. Set Paradise for it to get popped by the Creation King. That was quite smart of Timeless to do, as the Anguish will be triggering here, being summoned off of the field spell. Ash Blossom is going to attempt to negate. We have the Apollo USA Mate, negate. We're not going to add a Bestial on top of that while the Apollo cannot negate. Sure. The Fiendsmith in Paradise is going to fully resolve. Send Desiree, activate Apollo, negate. Yep, and we could add a Magna Hut to that if we want to. We're still choosing to not do so. We're just going to wait. And now back to Kaido after getting Fua lost on the very first turn. Off the top of the deck, we have the Anguish. We're going to normal summon the Dark Blade pop itself. Summon from the deck a 3rd copy of our Anguish. Searching for the Sleepy, which is special summonable to then fuse with our hand or field. Activate. Use 2 of our Anguishes away into our Twin Dragon. Twin Dragon pop itself, searching for 2 Memento cards as the Twin and the field spell reborns 2 additional bodies from the grave. We got the Horse. We got the Dark Blade. Horse pop itself. Send 2 cards in the deck to the grave. Trigger the Gaddock, or we chose to not do so. We're going to be returning 5 cards in grave to reborn our combined creation, giving us 10,000 damage on the field, which we believe is still not enough to go for game. We're going to summon Little Knight plus summon our Horned Dragon. We're now going to max C, sure, as we go in for game. I think we were hoping the Apollo negates Maxi, then we chain a Bestial to the Maxi getting negated to maybe try to block an attack. If we were to do that in main phase 1, we maybe felt that they would have then been able to out the Bestial, then the benefit of the Bestial block and attack would have not been as good. We were just going to lose either way. Let's start off first. This is Fiendsmith controlled. No Snake Eye in sight. We're gonna grab a Lurie with the tracks. That was a potential Ash Blossom use right there. $7,000 piercing battle damage, untargetable, can negate up to, what, 6 cards on the field? I don't think we really need to be negating that much. And I have not seen this effect ever be used yet. Target your Desiree, send all cards on the field to the graveyard that are not that monster. Non-target full field nuke. Well, let's see what happens. You can't use the second effect if you use that. You still can? Are you shiting? We could full field wipe and send a Desiree to send a card, and Desiree negate, and Ash Blossom negate. We have 4 disruptions, mate. This is gonna be interesting. Darkblade's popping a back row card. Now the Desiree is targetable. Ash Blossom negate the Darkblade from summoning from the deck. Negate. We have still a negate, a field wipe, and send 1 card from the field to the grave. We're gonna use the Desiree early. Negate. The grand breakout from grabbing a goblin and summoning it onto the field. No goblin for you. We could summon the horse now. We may wipe the field. Yes, we are. Let's go. Full field wipe. Wipe it. Non-target wipe. And on special summon, we could send your Horned Dragon to the graveyard. Oh, we don't play another Desiree. Oopsie. Yeah, we don't have enough room for a second copy of Desiree. Now we do. But we already used the Fiendsmith in Paradise to get an Engraver engraved, sure. So it'd still give us a follow-up. Now the Engraver can easily deal with the Typhon by sending it to the graveyard. And I mean, the whole thing about Fiendsmith is because they're fiends, they continually recur like zombies. So that makes sense, right? We're gonna send the Typhon to the graveyard, come forth into a Requiem, summon from the deck a Lacrima, send Engraver, normal summon, go into the sequence. We're going to sequence, fuse with the graveyard, get a Gnumday back in the extra deck, Lacrima, Reborn. So the definitive question of, if I sequence into Lacrima, Reborn Engraver, do I have 8,000 damage with the Gnumday and nothing else? Well, let's see right here. Right now, no additional help. Just sequence into Lacrima. 18, 18, burn for 12, Reborn, equip, boost. Yes. It is 9,000 damage. Sequence into Lacrima with nothing else is 9,000. And yes, the Engraver is something else, but it's engrave. It works with the Lacrima. Let's go. This is the top 8. We're gonna start this off with the Diablo Star. Don't worry, I'm gonna be speeding this up. Let's go. Tribute off, a good use of Ash here, stopping them from getting into the Azamina engine. We're gonna triple Tactics Talent, attempt to look at the hand. We're gonna be negating the Fool Loss before it gets ripped out of our hand. Return back that Nibiru, Bonfire into I Scoop. Yep, that Bonfire leads into, I think it would be 7 disruptions, just 7. We are having to deal with 3 hand traps here. Imperm for sequence. We have Ghost Ogre, which, what is that going to be good for? We're going to Droll whenever we want. We have 2 fingers for the Droll and the Ogre if it were even be considered a good use of them. Millennium and Azamina in one. Aren't we generally picking one over the other? That's quite interesting. Negate the sequence. As we said, we have 2 fingers, but you cannot finger that Imperm. Wow, set pass. We have Valor and Double Called By if we consider those to be forms of disruption. Senjin, summon from the back row, search for the Golem. Can't Valor these effects. The search and summon, they work like virtual worlds. We got the Wedju Temple here, put a monster from our hand into the back row. We're gonna get rid of our Ogre, summon the Doom Dragon, push the sequence back. As we further go into the Photon Lord, which will now negate the Valor. Are we getting 2-0'd? Shite. Oh, okay. Let's set up the Deception Sinful. Deception Sinful, tribute off the Droll, searching for the Hallowed Azamina. Hallowed Azamina is going to be sending the Deception, come forth into Sylvia. Another negate. Negate anything plus negate a monster. We have Lacrima. Reborn the Requiem, summon Lacrima from the deck. Photon Lord, negate. Veiler, negate. The negate. Sylvia? Sylvia? No. Did not negate the negate, negating the negate, as we now summon a Lacrima to send a Fiendsmith in Paradise. Wait, we summoned Engraver. Are we not playing Fiendsmith in Paradise? Maybe we're not. We are going to use Call by the Grave to finger the Snake Eye Oak. Sylvia, negate the finger, but I have 2 fingers. Finger the Sylvia, finger the Oak, double finger, negate, and banish. We now go into full Fiendsmith combo, huh? Wait, Kang, are you not playing Fiendsmith? You are. Yeah, you are. Why did I think you're not playing that for some reason? Moon of the Closed Heaven into a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Am I, why are we not Fiendsmithing? We're not under max C, right? We're under 2 called by effects. The Fool Loss is not even activatable. Is there a reason why we don't Moon into Requiem, into, get a Desert in the field? I guess we want to just keep the Photon Lord in the field? Sure. Timer? What do you mean? What? That was his first turn. Divine Temple is going to be putting a card into the back row, summon the Doom Dragon, which will be pushing back, forcing the activation of the Photon Lord to negate that Doom Dragon. Does not destroy, just negate. He's afraid of Nibiru. Okay. Let's Reborn the Engraver, spinning back the sequence. We have Fiendsmith versus non-Fiendsmith. Now, he is playing Fiendsmith. He just didn't go into the Fiendsmith engine. And this is what happens when you go into the Fiendsmith engine. How did Fictinium win this? I thought Fictinium was getting clapped. It seemed unwinnable. The chat was even saying GG, it's over, 2-0. Huh. Full loss, and no way to stop it. We're gonna hold the full loss for main phase 1, which does play into a triple tactics talent. Full loss does not work against the Millennium cards. We're still gonna be full loss before they touch the extra deck, as I now can triple tactics talent. Look at your hand, get that Droll and Lockbird out of here. Diablo Star off the top. This is no good. As we go into the Proxy F Magician, setting up for that first turn kill play. What did we just draw into? A Wanted Seeker. We're going to half our life points. 4,000 life. Nibiru. Wait. We didn't have to. Oh my God, we used Silvera to go. What? We used Silvera to go into the Chronomaly, so we didn't have a negate for the Nibiru as we attempted to reduce their life to half and then go for game. No way. We needed to use Silvera for the first turn kill. We couldn't use Silvera to protect us from a Nibiru. We had to take the chance. In Master Duel, the usage of Nibiru is at about 34%, and the TCG at 60%. So we took that gamble. Begin. Which I think a lot of people in the chat are doing that, and there's no problem with that. We're going to be banishing away the Ash, triggering the Shadow Squad to then use Ash to negate the Shadow Squad from summoning from the deck. Now we have an Infantry plus a Triana. Triana is going to reborn an Atlantan or Mermail from Engrave, which is not even a good play to do right now. We have no play besides the Droll in Lockbird. I promised you that the Mermail deck does brick. It's not super top tier. We're going to Wishes, discard, search for 2 cards here, Droll and Lockbird, so we can no longer be searching with the Sage. We're gonna be activating the Roar, summon from the deck here. Let's speed this up. Trigger, oh wait, there's no Maiden to trigger because we went for Sage, which would then search for the Maiden. As we now summon the Sage, go into the Spirit with the Eyes of Blue. We're not going to be searching for Mausoleum. No Maiden, no Mausoleum. Reborn the Blue Eyes White Dragon. 6,400 damage. We do have the Majesty Engraved to recycle it, being able to pop at least one card on the field. Plus the Drill Beam is activatable. So you just had Droll. I have Majesty, Drill Beam, Ash, Veiler, Quadra Disruption. Unfortunately, the Prince is not a trigger effect. Prince summons, you then get to respond to the Prince's summon by just getting rid of it. Anything, you could Majesty, you could Drill Beam. We allowed it to activate. I don't know, we should not have allowed that. I think we should have just Drill Beamed it right away before it even activated, because its cost is good. The cost is going to trigger. The cost is going to search the deck. Or we'll just negate. I mean, we have such an overabundance of disruptions. Unoptimally using our disruptions will still win us the game. Drill Beam, negate and banish, got him. I would say hold Drill Beam, Majesty the Prince before it activates, and then they would have just pretty much scooped it up. Let's go. Wow. Mermail. It's 50 card deck. You know, we have Droll, Ash, Finger, and a Max C, so triple disruption plus the C. Let's Ash negate the load, which would be searching for the Drill Beam. We have the Drill Beam magically in our hand already. We're gonna Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Come to me, our Mausoleum. Mausoleum will get a Blue Eyes White Dragon Engraved. Now we have to be thinking, with our Call by the Grave, do we finger the Spirit with Eyes of Blue? Do we wait with the finger against a Maiden, potentially? We're gonna chain Max C and not finger you. Reborn the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And as we can see from our end, we don't have a way to get to the True Light. Now, we ended up hard drawing the True Light, which we'll have to just set it instead. Now, our disruptions are Drill Beam, Veiler, and then Max C in addition to supporting our disruptions. Finger, the C, eat up that Call by the Grave. With just Drill Beam and Veiler, what do we do? This would be quite interesting if we Drill Beam the normal summon of the Prince. We're gonna Veiler it, it's still activatable, it's still gonna trigger a card from the deck. Just send the Dragoons, Dragoons will be searching. We have Drill Beam, which it's gonna trigger two cards here. This could have all been stopped if we just Drill Beamed the Neptibus, just Drill Beam it. Now, we could hold on to the Drill Beam because returning back to the hand's not a problem. We still have the Drill Beam activatable. Didn't go for the back row, went for the Blue Eyes instead. Should we have gone for the back? I feel like we should have maybe tried to force out a random back row card. It could have been a Majesty or maybe a Drill Beam. Now, we're assuming we negated the search for Drill Beam. Negate and banish the Anemone. 2,800 to the face. We're left with just a Droll and Lockbird. We have the True Light setting up a Wishes for the next turn. If the Wishes searches for a Sage, the Droll is going to stop the Sage from searching. You have Abyss Shrine, which is just going to draw into a hand trap, ideally. This is Upstart Goblin we are negating. Negate. No draw one for you, mate. Which, we don't know, maybe if it would draw into a Max C. Wishes discard the Blue Eyes, searching for a Roar, plus a Sage. Again, we are being thwarted on our search for our Maiden. And by returning back the Blue Eyes, it did benefit us in the way where Barrel is not activatable engraved to add back to the hand. So that was an instance where it was okay to target the Blue Eyes, specifically returning it back instead of the back row. As we now have a Tyrant Dragon to recycle the Purge. Yep, Purge will be recyclable. But boost up that Tyrant Dragon, reborn with our Spirit Dragon into the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And we're going to be dealing with a Hieratic Seal plus a Purge. The ability to search will be negated, and a card in the field will be spun back to the hand. Or we just win. Yeah, we had True Light activatable still. White Lightning. Mermail bricked twice. That's not good. We bricked. Shoot. Really unfortunate for Mermail. Back-to-back bricking. Poplar searching, I think, is also worth purging because, you know, you're stopping the Ash from summoning a Poplar, and which would then be searching off of that. What are we looking at here? Maxi. We have negate anything with Desiree. We have banish twice with Masquerina into Little Knight. We have triple monster negate with the Apollo USA. We're up to 6 disruptions. We have the Promethean Princess Engrave giving us 7 disruptions, 7 that is. And then if we use the Masquerina to send the Desiree after it negates, it's potentially up to 8 disruptions. But mostly, it's probably just gonna be 7. Let's see. 7 to 8. 8's the ceiling. I'll just show that it's 8 until that ceiling opportunity is gone. Did not negate wishes. And I think we kind of wanted him to potentially negate. We need the Desiree to negate. It's not enough for Apollo turning on the triple tactics talent, which the Desiree can negate the triple tactics talent. How do we get Desiree to negate? If they're going, and you should understand this if you're a Desiree player yourself, keep the Desiree as your last resort against board breakers. Any random nonsense, everything else, just let it happen or negate it with your other cards, and then your last resort play being the Desiree is gonna be, in most cases, the best way to use it. So the ceiling just went down, and we just used the Little Knight, and we also used the Apollo USA. So we're going to Apollo negate. So we have one more Apollo negate, a Desiree negate, a Little Knight, and the Promethean Princess. 4 disruptions. Roar. He's refusing to use the Desiree. What do we do? Maiden, Reborn, banish away the blue eyes. Promethean, Apollo, and Desiree. We cannot use the triple tactics talent without it being negated. And if they play triple tactics talent, the cross-out designate will negate it. 2 left. That's it. Oh no, and of course it negates. We tried everything. Everything we could do to get the Desiree to negate something else to then use the triple tactics talent afterward. Victinium is going second after winning game 1. We got plays. We have the Ash onto the Wishes, unfortunately. Then we have the fallback of Drill Beam without the barrel of being able to recycle it. Discard the Roar, Ash negate, and now the Drill Beam is not even activatable. We needed the Roar to turn on the Drill Beam. So we are solely reliant on the Ogre and Maxi drawing into a Blue Eyes, drawing into a Primite, hopefully. Victinium smells the desperation. I talked about this earlier in the stream. If you do not wait for them to commit a card to the field, you are potentially playing into them having a Fool Loss that they now get to use on your turn, where otherwise it would have been dead. And so there's multiple things. You play around triple tactics talent. You play around the Diablo Star being summoned early if it was Maxi, but then you lose to a Fool Loss, potentially. Plus the other hand traps they may be having. And I'm not gonna say this is a definitive rule, but I would say that this is how I would view Fool Loss and Maxi. If you do not immediately have a full combo play in your hand, then I would say you don't Maxi your Fool Loss early. You would try to guarantee a draw because you can't afford for them to pass with all their hand traps and potentially their Mulcharmies in hand when you don't even have a play. You need to be drawing. And then if you draw into the one play, it's gonna lose to one hand trap. It's gonna get 1 for 1 anyway. You may as well force a commitment if you don't have an active play, which we didn't have. All right, Diablo Star's here. They just waited another turn. And so what happened is we -1. We minused, that's it. Overall, it was a minus. Let's set up the Snake-Eyed Diablo Star. Nightmare Phoenix on summon, discard, wipe away the dead Drill Beam. Cannot believe that is dead. We still have Ash and Ogre though. Ash being used on the original Sinful, I think would be a good idea. Negate. And then all's fine, right? Well, they have Fiendsmith tracked. They have Snake-Eyed Diablo Star, which could go into the Moon of the Closed Heaven. all is not well. And this is where I think Snake-Eye Fiendsmith greatly benefits from the fact that your Ogre is Ogre and not a Thualos. Thualos was at the top of usage to the point where we were all using it because of how prevalent Snake-Eye Fiendsmith was. So if you look at the top cards page, the usage, and we type in Thualos, it went from, this is an insane drop, by the way, 60% to 36%. So you have the card that keeps your deck in check that people are no longer playing because they're playing Ogre to play around Blue Eyes because Thualos is not as good against Blue Eyes. It's the perfect time to play Snake-Eye Fiendsmith just for this reason alone. That Ogre did nothing. Pop in a sequence? What the heck does that do? It's not Zuyo's fault. Zuyo's just expecting, and I would say maybe properly expecting, to play against Blue Eyes more so than Snake-Eye Fiendsmith. That's the trade-off you're making when you're playing Ogre over Thualos. That's your choice. You have to ask yourself, what am I playing against more? Engraver plus potentially a normal summon Thualos. We're gonna grab the Lurie here. Lurie, come to me. Reborn the Lurie. As the Lurie goes into the Requiem, Requiem is gonna summon from the deck a Lacrima, send the Engraver. The Engraver is gonna be reborning. So this is what I was talking about earlier in today's stream, a combo that I don't see a lot of people doing, where you could normal summon the Thualos, and with the Lacrima and the Thualos, you could go into the sequence, you could then sequence into the Desiree, you could then go into the Ignumde, you could then Ignumde go into Reborn the Desiree, then you turn the Desiree and Ignumde into the Princess, and then the Princess and the Engraver are gonna go into a Wave King Caesar, and then the Lacrima during the opponent's turn will reborn the Ignumde, which will then reborn the Desiree. So you'll have a Wave King Caesar double special summon negate and the Desiree in one, if you can afford using up your extra normal summon, or you could use it with a Bestial. Now, you can't use, you should not be using the Engraver early. Ideally, you're spinning back the sequence. All right. Let's get fusing. We have Dominus Impulse. Drill Beam, negate the Impulse Mate. You can argue that play does, in fact, can lose to a Call by the Grave, yes. But if they called by, you still have a Wave King Caesar. Little Knights, sequence equip onto the Desiree. Let's set, and now back to you. Ooh, we got Forbidden Droplet, untargetable Desiree, could chain banish with the Little Knight. We have Call by the Grave, triple disruption. Let's go. Desiree negate the Condolence Puppet. That shows to you how good the Condolence Puppet really is. It is worth negating with Desiree. Now we're gonna have to be really coping on the Call by the Grave. At a play around called by, you can't really, if you send multiple copies, you banish one, it's still good. We have to banish preemptively, because if they activate the Terror Baby early or the Beast Doll, it's too late to use the finger. Rogue Doll triggering, Fiendish Knight triggering, Call by the Grave banishing. We're gonna go on the Rogue Doll specifically. Now, how much damage can we deal with a Rogue Doll negated? We needed the Rogue Doll to summon a Gimmick Puppet from the deck. And with the field spell, the Mansion is gonna turn off the Little Knight if it weren't already negated. Our monsters on the field are completely unaffected from activated effects. Let's do it. Let's pop off. We're gonna be using the Dreary Doll to reborn itself back in the field, going into the Machine X. Machine X will be searching for the rank up. We're going to be activating the Fiendish Knight, Reborn, the Beast Doll, Little Soldier, gonna turn them both into level 8, going into the Puppet of Strings. Puppet of Strings gonna put a puppet counter onto every single body on the field, as we now use the rank up magic into the Dark Strings, which will trigger the effect of the Desiree to send a card in the field, but it cannot send the monster because it's unaffected. Burn for 28, return back the Sequence Mate, say goodbye to the field spell, as we go to the battle phase for lethal damage. First turn kill deck is still a very good one turn kill deck going second. All right. Crema, Crimson Tear, send Engraver, link off into a Requiem. Desiree negate, Ash Blossom to gain interaction with the deck, Ghost Ogre get poppin', triple disrupt, Ash negate the Condolence Puppet, which would have sent 2 puppet cards in the deck to the grave. We're going to send the Condolence Puppet to negate the Desiree, and Desiree is going to just use up its negate, but that's all we wanted. We wanted to force your negate or negate you. And now we just have Ogre. Ogre not usable against the Mansion unless it uses its second effect. On activation search, thus the Ogre can't stop it. And the monster cannot be ogred because it is protected due to the Mansion. We're going to use the Magna Hut, banishing the Rogue Doll, hoping that they don't have another Rogue Doll, where otherwise they would have not sent a second copy of Rogue Doll unless they were baiting a Bestial, which I would say is probably a good idea. That was enough to scoop it. Rogue Doll is a 3 of, but as I said, it is reasonable to assume they don't have Rogue Doll if they're sending a Rogue Doll unless they're really trying to bait us. We have Ghost Ogre getting fingered, so completely undisrupted all the way. Show me the play. Give them the I'm Seti. Pop the I'm Seti. Burn for 1,500. Of course, that was not a first turn kill. You what, mate? We could take control of a monster plus finger a card in grave. Dippity into the Requiem, which is begging to get fingered. Requiem summon, nothing. Negate and banish. Now we still have our puppet play to further steal an additional summon. Lubellion into a Bestial, then take control of the Lubellion or the potential Bestial. Or are we taking control of the Engraver play? Engraver can return. Now, the Engraver can't force the Chaos Machine X into the graveyard through the Requiem because it's banished. So what do? Lubellion searching for Magna Hut. Magna Hut, Banish, the opposing I'm Seti. Activating a search for a dragon during the end phase. Activating the effect of the Machine X, which will destroy and inflict half of your attack. That's another form of disruption we have. Engraver, return back the Dippity, reborning itself back onto the field here. We have Fiendsmith tracked, activating Diffuse, and we do not know what's in their hand. So if we were to randomly take control of the Engraver, not knowing that it would actually fizzle their fusion, that would possibly be the better play. We're doing it. We're taking the gamble. You don't know what's in the hand. There could be anything. It's hand or field we fuse with, and we fuse with nothing. Typhon is now here. Typhon detach, spin away the Machine X as the Engraver will be returned back to our hand during the end phase. We have Baldrake plus Ogre. Ogre will destroy the Sarcophagus, but will then turn on the Triple Tactics talent. We feel that this is the best play, but boy, are we potentially going to get screwed by that Triple Tactics talent way. Draw 2, the big gamble. 3,000 attack or higher cannot activate. We could banish a monster from the grave and then also banish a monster summon for the extra deck. Is this enough against a first turn kill drawing 2? Let's go. Terror Baby and a Dominus Impulse to negate the Baldrake off the top of the deck. Ain't no way. Negate. Oh no. The double disruption effect of Baldrake is now reduced to nothing. If only we would have summoned it earlier before the top decked Impulse. Rank up Chaos Force being added to the hand. It's okay. 3,000 attack or higher cannot be activated. That is not 3,000. That's 25. Holy shite. We lost our Typhon. Typhon down. 2,900 at our face. 2,350 life left. As we are using the Terror Baby, you now cannot respond to our Gimmick Puppet activations. As we grab a Rogue Doll, and you cannot even use an Ash Blossom against it. Summoning from the deck a Little Soldier plus itself onto the field as the Little Soldier sends from the deck to the grave a Cattle Scream. It's time for Gimmick Puppet of Strings, triggering the Machine X to reborn and add back the rank up Magic Force. Puppet Strings will be applying a puppet counter onto every other monster on the field so that we could follow up with the rank up into the Dark Strings to draw, pop, and burn. Lethal damage. Wait, that wasn't lethal? Now it's lethal. Preemptive lethal damage, 3,300. I thought we had something big enough. We did not, but they could still attack for some damn reason. It's not even on Exceso. It's not a hard once per turn. It could still attack the turn it activates. It makes absolutely no sense. Gimmick Puppets advancing into the grand finale. The Fiend, Gimmick Puppet versus Snake Eye Fiendsmith. I was going on a tangent about Snake Eye Fiendsmith greatly benefiting from everyone taking Full Loss out of their deck. It's being represented in the official in-game stats. And with you not playing Full Loss, it's now time to get Snake Eye in. Let's go. Little Soldiers with our first turn kill deck is going to send from the deck to the grave a Rogue Doll, adding itself from engraved back to our hand. You have no hand trap against a first turn kill deck. Victinium, you did not think this through, now did you? What the heck is that? We have Machine X being summoned, searching for the Rank Up Magic turn 2 card, which is a card that's able to negate other cards in the field. We're now going into the Chaos Machine X, searching for the puppet play if we even make it to the very next turn. Detach Nixie's material, reborn the Cattle Scream, further going into the Puppet of Strings. We're going to detach a material with the puppet to then put a puppet counter onto every other monster in the field. You can't choose exactly what you put it onto, so you want to make sure that this right here would have been a mistake if you summoned this early. There's a lot of mistakes you can make with this deck. It's better to know what not to do than what to do with this deck, and then you would naturally do what you're supposed to do as you summon the Dark Strings on summon to pop, burn, and draw. Triple effect in one, and it's not a hard once per turn, and it's not even on Xyz summon. If you have a way to reborn the Dark Strings from engrave, it will activate and get burning and drawn. We're going to detach, also put a puppet counter onto the opponent's field that is, as we now go into the Link 2. Link 2, searching for the Fiendish Knight, normal summon the Terror Baby through the additional summon effect of the Machine X earlier activated in the turn. We have the Dark Strings, drawn, popping, and burning again, as we now Cattle Scream back in the field through the effect of the Fiendish Knight. We're going to Little Soldier, change the level of the Fiendish Knight and the Baby into the Puppet of Strings again. Non-target every other monster, gains a puppet counter, as we now rank up into the final play, burn for 33, draw a card, and pop it. Lethal damage first turn kill in the grand finale. It was messed up. You know we're going first for turn 2, but is it even worth playing out the rest of the match if you know inevitably the best case scenario, they get to go first again for game 3? It's over, right? Well, let's see. You have no hand traps. I had no hand traps. Now, let's be real, okay? Now, against Snake Eye Fiendsmith uninterrupted is just not even a chance. And what did we accomplish here? The absolute ceiling of disruption we have here, the Wallow itself, double monster negate with the Apollo, we have Masquerena double banish, we have Desiree negate anything, we have if Masquerena uses the Desiree, it could send a card in the field to the grave, and we have a Promethean Princess in grave, and we have a Druiswarm banished from their graveyard. 9 disruptions. And the 9th disruption is either the Desiree or the Druiswarm being used with Masquerena to get their secondary effect of being another form of disruption. But at least they didn't reduce our life to 0 on the first turn. We're going to send from the deck a Rainbow Bridge Salvation, search in our deck for a field spell plus a Crystal Beast. Got the Mansion, which will protect our monsters on field from activated monster effects, searching for the Little Soldier. We're going to Flame Burge, grab the Masquerena. If we fire off the Little Knight early, we're going to lose a disruption. We're doing it early, so we're now at 8 disruption. As we activate Little Knight, putting us at 7 disruption. Only 7. As we banish away that field spell to ensure that their monsters on field will be interactable with. Reborn our 2 level 1 fires. We have Triple Tactics Thrust, thrusting a Triple Tactics talent into our hand, as we now activate to take control of the monster. Desiree being used as the last resort, ideally against a board breaker, such as the Triple Tactics talent, negating. 6 disruption left. Now, this is a big issue here. With 6 disruptions left, we have the Bisque Doll, which if it activates and doesn't get negated, you now cannot target Gimmick Puppets. And the Terror Baby, if it activates and again does not get negated, you then cannot respond to the activation of any of our Gimmick Puppets. But Apollo can negate, and then we could still respond to all your cards, mate. Let's Fiendish Knight. Wallow is going to be taking your card and spinning it back in the deck. Detach Engraver, target the Terror Baby, goodbye. We have the Fiendish Knight added back successfully alongside the Rogue Doll. Rogue Doll will try to summon for the deck as the Fiendish Knight, similar to the Rogue Doll, summons in the graveyard instead. We're going to normal summon the Little Soldier, send from the deck a Cattle Scream. We're going to activate the Beast Doll to ensure you cannot target our cards with card effects, which would turn off the Little Knight from being good. So we're going to just use the Apollo. It also turns off Promethean Princess. Promethean and Little Knight would not be activatable. You have Machine X on summon, triggering our Promethean Princess as it has no trigger effect on field. It has to activate in an open game state. Thus, that's the weakness. Interact with it before it activates. Reborn Promethean. As we have Poplar triggering to equip the Snake-Eyed Diablo Star into our back row, Dreary Doll banishing to reborn itself onto the field. We have the Little Soldier changing the levels of the monsters on the field. Little Knight is going to chain banish Promethean plus the other body, ensuring that we can now summon our Druid Swarm not being blocked by Promethean itself, plus the effect of only summoning fire monsters. Apollo again negates the Rogue Doll from summoning itself plus another body from the deck. 2 bodies on the field has just been negated. Dreary Doll killing itself, okay? As we reborn Promethean Princess back in the field during the end phase, we could not, for some reason, play through 9 disruptions. Let's take out the Fiendish Knight, which will add back to the hand. We have 14,000 damage on the field now to 13,400 as we lethal damage with the Desiree. This is okay. Game 3, we go first. We're also a first turn kill deck. And a lot of you may be thinking, it's not a fair comparison because they have a field spell that makes it so you can't interact with their first turn kill. The field spell does nothing to Imperm. The field spell also doesn't stop Ash. Ash, negate Rogue Doll from hand. Imperm, negate whatever monster on the field. So the field spell really is not even that good. Draw face that, just shotgun that Maxi. I ain't waiting, no way. Scissor Arm's gonna send from the deck to the grave the Rogue Doll, and the choke point of the deck with your Ash is the Rogue Doll. Oh, what about the other card of doing the, no, I think that this is the definitive disruption you use with the Ash, and that ended their turn. Boom, done. Set the Droplet pass with just Droplet. We have a play, gets negated. We have another play, if it gets negated, we have 3 separate plays. We need 3 hand traps to stop this, and we only have Droplet. So the goal would be a really late Droplet could help play through all 3 different plays, right? Droplet send our entire hand, and it's got to be really late. That wasn't late. That was pretty early, mate. And I mean, that they still have original Sinful to play right through that. Like, you would think, okay, if Ash is negated, how do I get it back in the field? Promethean Princess, original Sinful into the Oak. We also have the Engraver. Oh my Jesus, is this the end? Original Sinful, send the Linkuriboh into the Poplar here. Poplar activate, grabbing the Divine Temple. Divine Temple activate, putting the Flamers into the back row. Moon of the Closed Heaven. We have Poplar equipping the Snake-Eyed Diablo Star into the back row. We have Requiem now here. Jump off the field to summon from the deck a Lacrima Crimson Tear. Send our second copy of Engraver here. Snake-Eyed Diablo Star equipping the Poplar. Further going into a Fiendsmith sequence. Sequence will be fusing the graveyard 2 bodies into Lacrima. Lacrima is going to be targeting the Engraver to reborn itself back onto the field. This alone is 9,000 damage, which would be game if we just went to the battle phase through the Agnumde, but it's actually not game because we would not get the attack reduction. We're off lethal by 200. That's what I'm just trying to say. Engraver, grab, tracked, activate, grab from the deck. That's the 200 for game. That's exactly 8,000. If we went into Agnumde, which I don't think we're even playing. We're not playing Agnumde. That's for the Fiendsmith control deck. We have Promethean Princess into Snake Eye Diablo Star, 9,700 damage on the field, just like that. Attack, attack, attack. Lacrima for lethal. First turn kill deck loses to a single Ash Blossom. I'm not saying it's a general statement, I'm just saying that is what happened. Meta Weekly results are here. Fiendsmith Control and Snake Eye Fiendsmith. The release of Lacrima has made Fiendsmith so much better. I cannot believe it. Well, actually, I do believe it. If I look at the tier list here, wow. Blue Eyes is dropping. Fiendsmith Controls entered tier 1 as Snake Eye Fiendsmith right alongside it. I think a big problem that people are having against Snake Eye Fiendsmith is they took out Fool Loss to put in Ogre to play against Blue Eyes, and then Ogre's no good against Snake Eye Fiendsmith, and without Fool Loss, they're endlessly making crazy plays. Your 1-for-1 hand traps are not going to be enough against Snake Eye Fiendsmith. So let's check out the deck list. Tempai, Dragon, Lemon. Good job, Lemon. 40 cards clean. All right, you're now a rogue deck, so people have to be rooting for you. Punk, Asim, 45 cards. Oh my. Good job. We got the triple emergency teleport thanks to the unban. We have Brandon. Abamod on 48. Not playing 60 cards. Double Allure of Darkness, double Mercurial. That's why you always had them. Okay. We still play triple Super Poly, triple Forbidden Droplet. We took out hand traps completely. And then we had to play against Gimmick Puppet. Well, we have Max C, though. Okay, Max C. Memento, I don't remember if he was playing hand traps in his other version, I'm assuming. Kaido. Good job with Memento. Not playing Fiendsmith, that's fine. We got Board Breakers, Triple Tactics, Super Poly, Triple Droplet even. That's wild. Okay. Gimmick Puppet, second place, 45 cards. The Impulse was coming in clutch. That was winning games. That was crazy. Getting a body on their field so you could Impulse a hand trap, which could be Nibiru or a Bestial. That was good. Mermail Atlantean. Not one, but two. 50 cards Hipster. Looking good. I'm a big fan of the Mermail deck right now. It's a lot of fun to play. I think it's got a pretty high skill ceiling. And then Psychic, 60 cards. Holy moly, we got Small World Bridges in this deck. Good job to you. There is the extra deck. You can look on Psychic's profile to compare his last week version versus today's. Blue Eyes. Zuyo with the 42 card build. We got two Triple Tactics talent for the 41st and 42nd. We have Ghost Ogre, no Fool Loss. As I was saying, the Fool Loss is what's keeping the Snake Eye Fiendsmith in check. Good job, Zuyo. Mobile X. Lots of Ogres here. Okay. Drill Beam it up. Yup. Lightstorm. Good new addition to the deck. Fiendsmith Control. Dippity to help go into the Chaos Angel is the way. Beast of Talwar, level 6 Fiend. Okay. We got our Fool Loss, and here we got tons of hand traps. And then we have Oldie Boy with the Sci-Frame Driver instead. Okay. And then Release the Kraken. Sci-Frame Driver again. Very nicely done. Let's look at the Snake Eye Fiendsmith. First place deck, Fictinium. 42 cards. Triple Nibiru, triple Fool Loss, triple Droll, and Lockbird. Oh my Jesus. Good job, Fictinium. Fireman. Got the Millennium. Wait, was Fictinium not on any of that? Not playing the Azamina and not playing Millennium. Just a ton of hand traps instead. Yep, makes sense. Fireman. We got the Millennium to help push through hand traps instead. There's the extra deck, and we got the first turn kill plays. Blaze Phoenix, first turn killing away. Snitrox. Looking pretty good. Millennium, Fiendsmith. We got the Dramatic Snake Eye Chase plus the Silvera for negates. Pilgrim Reaper. Mill 5? Really? Abdullah. Anything out of the ordinary here? Anything crazy? I don't really see it. We got the Chorozo in here. Nice. Chorozo into the Banshee. So any Fiendsmith play could bridge into Banshee searching for a Snake Eye. Good job. All right. And that is the event. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Let's go.